What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at again with another video. So we're gonna check out why Brock Lesnar is holding WWE back. Now, this is a very interesting topic here, mainly because Brock Lesnar has been someone that WWE has utilized for a very long time. Obviously, when Vince McMahon was in control, they literally pitched him as the next big thing. And he definitely, showed why, people, or why Vince and others in WWE at the time wanted to really push this guy, because the dude was an athletic freak. I'm sure Dub would not like to hear this, but at the end of the day, if you take the biases aside, the dude is very talented in the ring. Then he went to UFC because, the grind, he just wasn't a big fan of the traveling and the grind that wrestling would ultimately, take on your body and your time. So he ended up going to UFC, did his thing in UFC, he was pretty successful then he came back to WWE, and then it's really just been him coming back, get a huge payday. He'll do a couple of matches, be around for a little bit, then disappear. It was always a part-time schedule. And it got to the point where even when he won the Universal Championship, basically it was like not having a championship on your WWE television, because the guy that has it, he's somewhere in the woods shooting deer and shit, just living his life and getting a fat paycheck from it. While everybody else that's trying to make a name for themselves is, doing whatever they can on the week-to-week basis. And it became a thing where they would just try to get Brock to be just a draw. Hey, we're trying to promote this big pay-per-view or PLE, whatever you want to say. We're going to get Brock here. Does it make sense for him to be involved in the story? Not really, but it's Brock Lesnar. People are going to want to pay and see that. The question becomes, does he still have that same type of effect? I do think to an extent he does, because he's still a big name attraction. But I can see that some people feel like WWE doesn't need him anymore. So we're going to check this out. Should be a good one. Appreciate all love, support. Let's get right into this video, man.
April 2nd, 2012, Miami, Florida. The night after WrestleMania 28, John Cena stands in the ring, defeated and vulnerable, offering an apology to the fans for losing to The Rock. Then that guitar riff cuts through the arena like lightning. The crowd detonates, the air changes. Brock Lesnar walks out, back in WWE. After the camera shake, the thunder, the illusion that Brock equals instant importance, their emergency button, their dopamine hit, and they've been...
Hey, I just said that. When they need Brock to be available for something to, bring some type of draw in a sense, when it comes to like ticket sales or whatever, they just, hey, Brock, what you doing? Oh, you hunting deer still? Hey, we got a couple million for you to come around for maybe a couple shows, do your, traditional suplex, F5, 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 and then you can leave. Yeah, so it's about like 15 minutes of work, couple moves. I bet we'll wire over the money to you. That's literally it. Literally it.
Chasing it ever since. Brock Lesnar is a shadow cast across WWE's attempt to evolve, a weight holding the company back from the future it's trying to build. And after that John Cena debacle at SummerSlam 2025, after watching creative fall back on the same tired playbook from 2014, that shadow will not be ignored. This isn't a rant, this is an intervention. Because WWE has a Brock Lesnar problem. To understand the frustration, you first have to remember the awe. Because 2002 Brock Lesnar, unreal. Faster than the cruiserweights, stronger than the giants, more intense than anyone else on the roster. Think of youngest WWE champion.
Dub would hate and like this video because he's giving fair criticism to why WWE just keeps going back to this guy and rely on him. But also the history involving Brock, he would hate. He would love and hate this video.
And ever at age 25. Defeated Undertaker in Hell in a Cell. Won Royal Rumble 2003. Beat Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 19. 1 year. All of that. In 1 year. Look, he wasn't just a rookie who got lucky. He was a rookie who performed like a final boss from day one. A physical specimen that made you forget WWE was scripted. Because nobody should move like that at that size. Nobody should be that explosive, that agile, that goddamn terrifying. WWE protected his booking like their lives depended on it. Because in many ways, They thought their future did. This was supposed to be the guy.
Yes.
The next big thing. The franchise player who would carry them through the 2000s. Then he left. Not because of injury, not because WWE held him back, not because the fans turned on him. He walked away because he hated it. Hated the travel schedule, hated the fame, hated the lifestyle. The thing that makes WWE stars is the thing that made Brock miserable. Constant touring, no days off, living in airports and hotel rooms. At WrestleMania 20, he lost to Goldberg, took a Stone Cold Stunner, and left to a hostile crowd that knew he was done. That disinterest stuck. It followed every decision. It shaped every contract negotiation. It created the dynamic that WWE still lives with today. When he returned in 2012 after his UFC run, WWE learned a dangerous lesson. Brock doesn't need WWE. WWE needs Brock. And that imbalance, that's where every...
And I feel like for the longest time, that's what it was. But I do feel like now they don't. You have stars. You're trying to create stars, and you're doing that. You don't need Brock. Is it good to have to enhance a future talent? For sure. But you don't need him. We haven't really needed him for the past few years. I'm gonna be honest with you. I get it that he's a name draw. He's able to get people in the building and people to buy tickets. But as of now, you really don't need him. You don't. Will they use him? For sure, because it's money. So I get it. But he's not a necessity for the show to be successful.
Every problem begins. Look, I know the counter-argument. I know Brock sells tickets. I know that when his music hits, the casual fans wake up. Headlines.
Yeah.
I know all of that. But here's what those numbers don't show. The long-term cost.
Yeah.
You can spike a rating for one night. You can sell out an arena for one show.
Yeah.
But you can't build a sustainable future on a part-timer who shows up 6 times a year and erases everyone else's progress in 90 seconds. And the proof? It's in the pattern we're about to walk through. Before we dissect the Suplex City scam, I need to be real with you. My analytics show that over 90% of you watching this analysis aren't subscribed. If you want...
That Suplex City scam, I love it, bro. That's funny, man. That is funny, bro.
The branding was brilliant.
Hold on.
Iconic at first, didn't it?
Yeah, the deep dive, the Suplex City illusion.
The branding was brilliant. The catchphrase worked. Brock threw people around like rag dolls. And for a while, maybe a year, but behind the branding was a pattern. Repetition over creativity.
Yeah.
Dominance over storytelling.
Yes.
Bare minimum effort over crafting something memorable.
Yes.
Here's the thing. You can sell us on Suplex City once, twice, maybe even 3 times, but eventually, we start to notice.
Yes.
Let me show you what I mean. WrestleMania 32,
Ooh.
April 3rd, 2016.
Ooh.
AT&T Stadium, Dallas, Texas. Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. No holds barred street fight. On paper, this should have been incredible.
That should have been a fun-ass match. This was the match I was looking forward to the most. I was like, oh, Dean Ambrose is going to get murdered, but we're going to enjoy everything about it. It's going to be entertaining. And no. That shit was a bucket of boringness. Because reportedly, Brock didn't want to do nothing that Dean came up with. He didn't want to do a damn thing. He didn't care. He didn't want to do it. So if Brock don't want to do shit, he's not going to give you a good match. You're just stuck with suplex, F5, F5. All right, call it a day.
Ambrose, the lunatic fringe, the most unhinged character on the roster. Mick Foley passed him Barbie, the legendary barbed wire baseball bat. Terry Funk gave him a chainsaw. The build-up promised chaos.
Yes.
Violence. A WrestleMania classic.
Yes.
Ambrose pitched wild spots, dangerous stunts, creative weapon sequences. This was his WrestleMania moment.
Yes.
He wanted to make it count. Brock refused most of them. Why? UFC return fight scheduled. Didn't want to risk injury. Didn't want to go crazy with hardcore elements despite agreeing to a no-holds-barred street fight. The result? 13.
Which makes no fucking sense. Why would you do that? Which means, once again, it was never about really just putting on a great fucking WrestleMania match for Dean that could have utilized this. This was more so, hey, I'm getting my payday. I'm going back to UFC, bro. I'm not trying to get fucked up here. Like, bro, then... All right.
15 German suplexes, kendo stick shots, a chainsaw that didn't roar, F5 onto chairs, victory Brock, done. Not a WrestleMania moment, a dismissal, slow, safe, lifeless. Ambrose later said it perfectly.
The vision for that match to be the craziest everything imaginable, trying to pitch everything to everybody, and I put so much effort in, so much work in, and I was met with laziness.
Think about that for a second. One guy treating WrestleMania like a canvas for art, the other treating it like a mandatory corporate meeting where you do the bare minimum and clock out. Ambrose wanted to build something unforgettable.
Yeah.
Brock wanted to avoid trouble and leave. And which approach won? The one with leverage.
Yes.
The one who could say no and make it stick.
Yeah.
You can feel it, right? This isn't just disappointing. This is disrespectful to everyone who worked to get that match on the card. Art loses. Laziness wins. The pattern begins. That was not a moment. That was a message. Let me take you back to early 2019. Kofi.
God, bro. Yeah, Dub would love and hate this video. Oh my God.
Mania, one of the most beautiful underdog stories WWE had crafted in years. Kofi Kingston, 11 years with the company, always the reliable tag team guy, never getting a real shot at the top. Then opportunity knocks. Mustafa Ali gets injured.
Yep.
Kofi fills in. The crowd explodes. Daniel Bryan becomes the perfect antagonist.
So
WrestleMania
good.
35 arrives. Kofi wins the WWE
So
Championship.
good, bro.
Fans cried. His kids cried. The New Day celebrated. Pure, unfiltered joy.
So
For 6
good.
months, Kofi defended that title. Dolph Ziggler, Samoa Joe, Randy Orton. Solid matches, respectable reign, fans invested. Then October 4th, 2019, SmackDown's Fox debut. Staples Center. Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar come out, challenging Kofi for the title. Kofi, being a fighting champion, accepts. The bell rings. Kofi runs. Brock catches him. F5. 1, 2, 3. Under 10 seconds. Not a
That shit was wild, bro. You literally made this nigga look like a fucking loser. For what? To pop a rating and then we can get this fucking Cain Velasquez match that no one fucking gave a two shits about, and it was horrendous for a Saudi show, I believe. Bro, that shit was... Bro, you could have had him fight. You could have had him fight, bro. Yeah, he may have lost, but had him put up a fight. And then after that, he never cared about the fucking WWE Championship ever again. It was fucking atrocious booking.
match, an execution. The entire 6-month reign erased in less time than it takes to microwave popcorn.
Yes.
They built a miracle. They tore it down in seconds. No build, no emotion, no drama. Just Brock showing up, taking the title, and walking away like he's picking up groceries.
Yes.
Kofi's miracle became a footnote, a punchline. Remember that time Brock reminded everyone that feel-good stories don't matter?
Yes.
Ask yourself, when was the last time a title mattered week to week? When was the last time you felt invested in someone's reign when you know Brock can just show up and erase it without breaking a sweat? You see it now, don't you? May 19th, 2019, Hartford, Connecticut. Money in the Bank ladder match. 8 competitors battling. Ali, Andrade, Corbin, Balor, McIntyre, Orton, Ricochet. 15 minutes of bodies crashing into ladders, high-risk spots. Everything you want from this match. Mustafa Ali climbs the ladder, reaches for the briefcase. Freedom, opportunity, the golden ticket. Then Brock Lesnar's music hits. Crowd erupts. Brock walks out, shoves everyone aside, climbs the ladder,
and
grabs
wins.
the briefcase. Wins Money in the Bank without breaking a sweat. Match time, 90 seconds. Not clever, not earned. The message was clear. Everything you just watched doesn't matter. Brock is here. Brock wins. Ali, who carried the match, who told a story, who risked his body, erased. Ricochet, Andrade, Balor, erased. All that work, meaningless. One man shows up. 15 minutes vanish. This wasn't a shocking twist. This was creative laziness disguised as a moment. WWE wanted the pop, the surprise, the social media buzz. What they got was a crowd realizing that effort doesn't matter if Brock decides to show up. Brock doesn't build talent, he buries them. Let's step away from the laziness for a second and look at the mechanics. Because having a part-time champion doesn't just hurt the main event, it breaks the fundamental logic of the entire show. May 2017 to August 2018, the Universal title reign, 504 days. Think about how a wrestling show is supposed to work. You fight on the undercard to get to the midcard. You fight in the midcard to get a title shot. You win the title to become the king. It's a ladder. But when Brock held the belt hostage for 500 days, he removed the top rungs of that ladder. The ecosystem collapsed. Without a champion on TV, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and Braun Strowman weren't fighting for a prize. They were running on a hamster wheel. There was no destination. The show wasn't building to a climax. It was stalling for time until Brock's contract said he had to appear. It turned Monday Night Raw into a 3-hour commercial for a product that wasn't even in stock.
And thank you, That's a perfect explanation. The title was just held hostage. I know some can say, well, Roman Reigns did the same thing. You're not accounting for the previous years where Roman was he was on every pay-per-view, PLE. He was on every show. He damn near main evented every PLE. He was on the weekly shows almost every single week. He was fighting. It didn't become like we didn't see Roman as much until like he beat everybody. So at that point, it was just here and there. But he literally beat everyone. He beaten everyone at that point. So that's different. Brock, they automatically gave him a part-time schedule as soon as he won the damn thing. It was over. It was GG's, bro. It was over, bro. We weren't going to see that title anytime soon. Shit's crazy.
And worst of all, it devalued the currency of the championship. When the title is gone for months, the audience learns to live without it. They learn that the belt is a prop for a special attraction, not the heart of the show. So when Roman finally beat him, it didn't feel like he conquered the world. It just felt like the belt came out of storage. Here's the thing about wrestling. It's scripted. The winners are predetermined. The outcomes are planned. But the trust behind it, that's real. When you get in the ring with someone, you're trusting them with your body, your career, your livelihood. There's an unspoken agreement. We're going to make this look devastating, but we're going to keep each other safe.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar has broken that trust, repeatedly. Randy Orton, SummerSlam 2016, August 21st, 2016. Brooklyn, New York. Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar. The planned finish was simple. Brock wins via referee stoppage after controlled strikes. The match starts, then Brock removes his gloves and starts throwing real elbows, not worked punches. Full force shoot elbows directly to Orton's skull. Orton's head splits open. Blood everywhere. Severe concussion. 10 staples to close the wound. This wasn't wrestling. This was a beating. Whether Vince McMahon sanctioned the hard way blood or not, Brock was the weapon used to brutalize a coworker.
Yeah, that was kind of wild. When you really think about it, even though that was a planned spot, I don't think y'all understand. This nigga legitimately busted him open hard way with his elbow full force, concussed him. That's insanity. I watched this, I was like, what the fuck? Like, that was insanity. And then granted, it's just like, well, is Randy gonna get his get back? No. Okay, so he just killed this nigga? What story is this? Other than, damn, he just had Randy Orton leaking. I don't know.
And Brock chose how hard to throw those elbows. He made the decision to cross the line from scripted violence into something far more dangerous. Consequences? None. Zero. WWE defended it as making it look real. Brock faced zero repercussions. He taught everyone backstage a lesson that night. The rules don't apply to him. The Bray Wyatt rejection. Fast forward to 2023. WrestleMania 39 is being planned. Bray Wyatt returned to WWE after years away, immediately one of the most over acts on the roster.
Yeah.
Creative wanted Brock versus Bray, a major program, a huge WrestleMania match, something that could have been special for Bray's comeback run.
Yeah.
Brock said no, declined the match, didn't like the creative direction, wasn't interested, so WWE dropped it. Bray lost a massive WrestleMania opportunity, not because creative didn't want him there, not because the fans didn't want to see it, but because Brock said no. And when Brock says no, that's the end of the conversation. Brock does not adapt to the show. The show must adapt to Brock. And if he doesn't feel like doing something, it doesn't happen. Doesn't matter who it hurts. Doesn't matter what story it ruins.
He got that type of bull, bro.
There's an elephant in the room. A massive, unavoidable elephant that WWE tried desperately to ignore. The Janelle Grant lawsuit. Wall Street Journal coverage. Serious allegations. Brock Lesnar's name specifically mentioned in legal documents describing deeply disturbing behavior. I'm not going to go into details here. This isn't about litigating the specifics. That's for courts to decide. But here's what is observable. WWE tried to move forward like nothing happened. Brought Brock back for major shows. Pushed him in prominent positions. Acted like business as usual. So, that's the reality. That is the heavy legal cloud hanging over everything. And honestly, that alone should be enough to close the book. But let's say, for the sake of argument, you ignore the lawsuits. Let's say you ignore the backstage bullying. Let's say you look strictly at the on-screen product in 2025. Surely, after all this time, the creative has evolved? Surely they wouldn't make the same mistakes again? Well, then SummerSlam happened. August 3rd, 2025. SummerSlam. MetLife Stadium, New Jersey. John Cena's farewell tour, announced as his final run before retirement. A chance to celebrate one of WWE's all-time greats. 16-time world champion. Face of the company for over a decade. Someone who deserves a proper send-off. So who does WWE book him against? Brock Lesnar. And how does that match go?
This is a man built for one thing.
F5, victory Brock, under 5 minutes. The exact same booking from their 2014 SummerSlam match. Cena gets dominated, Cena gets destroyed, no competitive showing.
I don't, to this day, that's the biggest booking blunder I think Triple H has ever been associated with, because that's Vince level booking. You literally retreaded the same match. What did it do for John Cena? What does this do for Brock? Why? We never fucking understood why. They just did it to create a moment. They then was going to ESPN. This really comes down to them going to ESPN to get as much people to get hyped about Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza. And WrestlePalooza was a fucking dud. That's it. They didn't learn nothing.
No respect paid to his legacy. Just a repeat of the same formula from over a decade ago. The crowd wasn't shocked. They weren't angry. They were simply tired. Destroying Cena in 2025 doesn't make Brock look strong. It makes creative look frozen in time. It makes WWE look like they learned nothing. Cena's farewell should have been a moment, a celebration, a passing of the torch, an acknowledgement of everything he meant to the company. Instead, it became another example of WWE reaching for the same old playbook because they don't know what else to do. Years from now, when this era is remembered, it will be defined by the storytellers, the workhorses, the performers who showed up every week and built characters people cared about.
For sure.
Cody Rhodes finishing his story.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns' 4-year title reign.
Yes.
Seth Rollins carrying Raw through multiple injuries.
Yeah.
The women's division finally getting the respect it deserved. Those are the stories people will remember. Those are the moments that defined this generation. Brock Lesnar was the next big thing in 2002, and for a brief period after 2012, his return felt special again. But in the Triple H era, where stories matter, where characters breathe, where week-to-week continuity drives the product, Brock feels like an artifact from a past WWE is trying to leave behind. He doesn't elevate, he consumes. Look, I'm not saying Brock was never great. I'm not saying he couldn't be valuable in the right role, used the right way, in limited doses. But WWE's dependency on him has become toxic. You see it now, don't you? Their inability to imagine main events without him has stunted everyone else's growth. Their willingness to bend the entire show around his schedule, his interests, his ego, has created a system where one person matters more than the collective roster. That's not sustainable. That's not healthy. That's not the future. Ask yourself, who will carry the shows when the surprise stops working? For WWE to move forward, for Triple H's vision of character-driven, story-focused wrestling to truly succeed, the Beast must finally step aside. He needs to go away so we can finally miss him, or realize we never needed him at all. Because the addiction has to stop, the dependency has to break, and WWE has to prove they can stand on their own without reaching for that same old high. It's been 12 years. That weight is heavy. It's time to let go. WWE needs to realize that the next big thing happened 20 years ago, and chasing a ghost is the fastest way to kill the living. My algorithm thinks you're gonna like the video on the screen right now.
Hey man, this is definitely dope, bro. This is a good video, man. Like I said, Dubs would like some of this, and he would definitely not like some of this as well. It would be a mixed bag, but the general message is here. Do I think there's a place for Brock in certain aspects? If you want to actually enhance the future, yes. That's why I hope there is something that happens with Braun Breaker and Brock Lesnar. I'm sure he'll be at the Royal Rumble, or maybe Gunther and Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. If they're having Gunther be this guy that retires legends, I'm okay with it. But at the end of the day, he's done it all. They don't really need him, to be honest with you. You don't. All you need is the stars that you already have and utilize them. These are the same individuals that were selling out shows in arenas without Brock. You don't need them. Don't get stuck in the past of reusing someone that was the recipe to a quote-unquote sellout show when you don't need that. Use the guys you have there, the guys and girls that you have there. The future Focus on that, because at some point, Brock's not going to be able to come back. At some point, you got to rely on the current talent you have to sell out these venues. Because if you're feeding your current talent to the guy that was, the next big thing 20 years ago, then how are your fans supposed to give a damn about the current talent when your guy goes back to the woods and you're stuck with the people that are there every week? So, but hey, comment down below. Let me know some other wrestling related videos y'all want me to check out. I definitely will. I appreciate all love, support. Road to 150K. My bad. Road to 200K. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.